After graduating from dental school, most dentists are told that there are really only two ways to build wealth in our profession: either work as an associate or own your own practice. Now, chances are, if you're a dentist watching this video, you probably find yourself on one of these two paths. Now, both paths do have their pros and cons, but as you'll see shortly, both paths are more alike and limited than you might think. Welcome to the Dividend Dentist. I'm Dr. Adam Coughran, a dentist by trade and investor by design, and I'm here to help you achieve true financial independence and time freedom with passive income. Let's get started. So now I want to break down both paths, and these are often called the two traditional paths to wealth for most dentists. Let's start with the first path, or what I like to call the drill and bill associate path. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, an associate dentist is simply an employee dentist who works for another practice owner or group practice. Now let's start out with some of the pros of being an associate. For one, associates often have more flexibility than owners. Flexibility in the sense that you clock in, you treat patients, and you clock out, with little headaches regarding management, staffing, materials, etc. The second perk of being an associate, they often have a predictable income. Most associates are typically paid based on salary or a percentage of their production or collections. The associate dentist knows what they're going to be making on a regular basis. They don't typically have to worry about variation in prices, insurance, cost, anything like that. But being an associate does have its drawbacks. For one, associate dentists often give up a lot of control that practice owners may have, such as how appointments are scheduled, what materials are chosen, and any choice in staffing. Next up, associates have very little when it comes to building equity in something that they own. Think of being an associate dentist as renting out your time. While this isn't bad, if you work, you make income. But if you stop working, the income stops along with it. Similar to our active income concept that we discussed in a previous video. Lastly, associates often have a lack of tax benefits compared to being a practice owner. Because an associate dentist is an employee, they often don't have the same deductions and benefits regarding taxes that a practice owner may have. This is often in the form of expenses that are required to run the practice. Simply put, an associate earns income, pays taxes, and spends the rest. Essentially, being an associate feels safe and predictable, but you're trading time for money with no real long-term ownership upside. Because of this, there's often an unspoken rule in dentistry. Many dentists automatically assume that the natural next step is to go out and buy their own practice or start one from scratch, and thereby level up to becoming a practice owner to reap all of those benefits that we just mentioned. But is that actually true? Let's take a look at the second path. Path number two is what I like to call the CEO clinician practice owner. Let's start with control. Practice owners often have more control than associates. Again, this can range from how appointments are scheduled, how staffing is handled, management, payroll, material choices, you name it. As a practice owner, you're the big boss and everything that comes with it. Next is equity. Practice owners, as they pay down their practice loan, are building equity in something that they hope will be paid down and grow in value over time. Think of it like owning versus renting a home. If you're a homeowner, you build equity in your home as you pay down the mortgage every month. Later on, if you want to sell the home for a profit or use that money towards a bigger, nicer home, you have that option that you didn't have if you were renting. And lastly, tax benefits. Practice owners do have a wide range of tax benefits that aren't available to associate dentists. Oftentimes, practice owners have the ability to deduct a lot of expenses related to the management and operation of their business on a day-to-day basis. Compared to an associate, owners, on the other hand, earn income, spend, and pay taxes on the rest. But being a practice owner isn't always sunshine and rainbows. For one, less flexibility. A lot of people associate a higher level of control with a higher flexibility. But is that really the case? As an associate, jobs are flexible. Worst case scenario, you aren't tied to one location, but as an owner, you're often tied to one location and oftentimes one patient base. This often runs over into flexibility regarding your income as well. As a practice owner, time off means less income, but the bills still keep coming. And lastly, practice ownership is often associated with unpredictability. Things like payroll, staff turnover, insurance, and overhead are constantly changing. Simply put, you may own the practice, or does the practice own you? Something to think about. But what do both paths have in common? Simply put, both paths are bound by time, energy, and your clinical efforts. Because of this, many dentists often feel pressured into making a choice. The choice between predictability with no ownership and no equity versus ownership and all of the headaches that come with it. But I want to ask you a question. What if there's a better third path? What if I told you that there was a way to own businesses, but not necessarily the one you work in? Businesses that pay you for being a passive owner without active involvement. If you don't get anything else from this video, just remember this one mindset shift that I want to end with. And that is that self-employment does not automatically equal passive ownership. In fact, this third path will teach you how to be an owner as a passive investor instead of a self-employed clinician, without depending on your time and your energy. More on the third path in the next video. If you like this content and want to see more like it, drop a comment below. And again, remember to subscribe and stay tuned as we discuss the third path in the next video. I'll see you then.